Alright, one more video. Hope you're still doing alright. It's back to back for me between videos here, so yeah, I'm just gonna keep going for a while. You can see it's getting darker and darker outside, so that's how long it takes me for actually doing one video every now and then. Sorry if I'm rushing through parts. Sometimes I feel like basic stuff are easier for me, so maybe I just don't really explain stuff too well. But anyway, we set up this zombie animation blueprint in the last video. You can just see my variables that I have here, so just try to copy them. And what we're gonna do now is we are gonna set up some basic movement for the zombie. So in the master AI, let's create a custom event called event roam. Let's just see if stuff is working. So AI move to, the pawn to move is gonna be self, and the destination is gonna be random point, get random point in navigable radius. So we're not gonna get a point where we can't navigate to. We're gonna set up a NavMesh volume for this, but first get random point in origin is gonna be get actor location self. The radius is gonna be like 1000, acceptance radius 100. Do we need nav data? No, I think that's fine. And once we reach that, so on success, we're gonna delay for like 1 second, and then we're gonna do event roam again. So this is now a loop, as you can see, because it's just after once we reach the destination, we're just gonna keep looping. For this to work, we need to set up a crate. We need to find how we actually set up a NavMesh in Unreal Engine 5. Create box choose. Where is the, how do I set in show? Because in Unreal Engine 4 we have the thingy here. 1 second, I need to pause. Okay, yeah, I just press create and get this place actors panel. I like this place actors panel, so I will just keep it. Because there we can search for actors. So search for NavMesh bounce volume, and we're just gonna drag it in. And the NavMesh bounce volume, what this is making now, like you can see the green parts there. If you can't, press P. We can just extend it over the area we want the character to be able to walk, and you can see it's generating mesh. It won't be able to go up here, so if you want that, you can just extend it upwards, and now we can actually walk on the stairs well. So this does not affect our player character right now because we're not moving. The player character is moving with the standard controller, but the AI needs this mesh to get points to actually be able to walk to. So now we actually have this navigable radius. So from begin play, let's do event roam and see if that works. It is working. You can see he is moving around, but he's not really moving. he's not moving the blood space. So let's figure out why that is. Master AI animation blueprints. Let's go into the anim graph. Let's go into default. Let's go into idle run. And the rotation lean. And let's see speed. So I feel like it should work. Are we not calculating the speed? We are calculating the speed. And okay, the thing is, I think I know why. Or I don't actually, because this is a blend space 2D3. It is. This is as well, right? We don't need these rotation leans. I'm not sure why he is not moving. So AI move to. This should actually trigger the speed. So let's just print string, not the duration. We just want to see what speed he is moving at. And it doesn't print because I'm client side. Standalone. Still doesn't print. He is moving. But why is he not sprinting? Speed, right. Hold on for 1 second and I'll just try to find out why. Alright, that was stupid of me. So in the Master AI animation blueprints, you need to swap the here. So from the begin play, you need to exchange the, because I was casting to the master player character, so cast to the Master AI instead. And then this character ref needs to be the Master AI and not master player character. That means you need to change it here, and you also need to reconnect all the pins. And now it's working. You can see he's walking around, or he's sprinting really fast. So in the Master AI, we also need to set the walk speed. It should be, max walk speed should be, it's not 600, let's do 200 by default, which is the walking animation of our zombie. And you can see he's walking. And you can clearly see that it's floating, so it's not really right. So I think we should do more like 150. And in our zombie blueprints, we then need to also switch this up a little bit. Like maybe we should do maximum 300. That will bring this to, oh, that will bring the walk to 150. It's still a bit floaty. So Master AI, let's do I'm not sure, like 125, is that just too small? Let's set this to snap to grid 125. Let's see if that's better. That's a very slow walk, but it is a zombie, so I guess he's never gonna catch up to us. It's gonna make this game super easy. 75, is that too little? Let's just do number 5 instead. Let's set this to speed 75. Let's see how that looks. That's better. But it actually still is sliding a little bit. So to counter that, we're actually just gonna, because we can't do lower than 75, so we're just gonna increase the rate scale so it moves a little bit faster, the animation. That's better. He's still a little bit floaty though. So I think this animation is like 50 movement speed or something. What happens if I do 1.2? That's better. Yeah, that's I guess that's as good as we're gonna get. That I think that feels fine. It is a little bit floaty, but that's gonna be fine. So he's roaming. Am I even recording? Yes, I am. Good. So to recap, if you don't want these nodes to be exactly on the lines, you can just why isn't it working? Yeah, you can just right click and you can just this snap to grid. You don't need to have that selected. If you don't have it selected, you can actually move them wherever you want to. So I'm gonna put 75 in speed and 0 in rotation. So that puts it in between, and that's gonna be fine for now. You could also experiment with these ones so that you have one on exactly 75. And we are running at 300. And let's see if that looks good. So movement speed, my guess is that it's way too fast as well. And maybe it is a little bit fast, so let's do 250 maybe. Let's go in here and change the maximum to 250. Now we need to switch this one as well to 75. And let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's better. So he is running on 250 and walking on 75. That's fine. Okay, he's actually quite fast, so if they are all running like that, we might be overrun pretty quickly. And I think it was a little bit fast actually. So let's do 225 just for good measures. 225 and do 225 and then do 75 on this one. There we go. Here we have a good balanced zombie that we can actually fight. And that's looking quite good, yeah. It is sliding a little bit, no? Yeah, it is sliding a little bit, but it's fine. So, there we have a roaming zombie. That's good. So, this, I think this is better. Random point in navigable radius, yeah. Let's do 2 seconds, just because. And what should we do now? What happens when we detect the player? So there's plenty of ways to do this. You could use a pawn sensing. I don't like the pawn sensing though. bum, bum, bum. We are gonna do it like this. We are gonna, in our master AI, we are gonna add a sphere collision. We're gonna set it to 500. And in our player character, we are gonna do the same. And we are gonna set it to also 500. Or actually, we're just gonna set it to 100 now, just to decrease the radius a little bit. So, and we're gonna go into File, Edit, gonna go into Project Settings. We're gonna go to Collision, and we're gonna add a new object channel. And the new object channel will be called Aggro. And the default response will be ignore. So what we're doing now is we're setting up a new object channel. Save all, go into your master AI. Actually, we can close this. And for collision on this sphere, we're gonna call it Aggro sphere on both our player and our character. Gonna set it to custom, and we have the aggro. So the sphere is gonna be block on, no, it's not gonna be block, it's gonna be overlap, or actually it's gonna be block. It's gonna be block, and the type, object type will be aggro. So since it's by default ignoring, so the only thing that will collide with this aggro is something that has block on aggro, which we need to manually set up. So it's going to be the same on the master AI. Aggro sphere is going to be overlap all dynamic. It's going to be set to custom. It's going to be aggro, and it's going to block aggro. I think this should be fine, and let me just check so it's not actually physically blocking us, and it's not, so that's fine. So master AI, when we on component begin overlap, yep, so this one on component begin overlap, we are gonna cast to player character, and yeah, just a heads up, I'm not doing behavior trees. I don't like behavior trees. You can do them if you want to, but then you should not follow my tutorial for this. I'm just doing the logic manually, the AI logic manually, because I feel like it gets me more control and I understand it better, so I'm just gonna do this. So whenever we begin overlap, we are gonna promote to a variable. We're gonna delete this, but now we have a variable for master player characters. Overlap, or players in range, we're gonna call this. And it's gonna be an array. So whenever a player is overlapping, we're gonna add him to players in range. And when we stop on component end overlap, we are gonna once again cast to player character. We're gonna remove item. So when we end the overlap, we're gonna remove the character from players in range. And you don't need to do this necessarily. You don't need to. You could just. I'm gonna make my zombies stop chasing the player after a while. But on begin overlap, we are also gonna okay, just to keep it simple now, we are gonna add. No, we are gonna has aggro. We'll make a variable called has aggro. It's gonna be a boolean, and it's just gonna be like this. So we are not gonna keep roaming if has aggro is true. From default. So if we have aggro, we're not gonna keep roaming. So whenever somebody is in range, we're gonna set has aggro to true, and we are gonna move to the player instead. The destination is gonna be, we're gonna promote another variable. This is just gonna be the character, and this is just a simple setup. We're gonna call this target. And the target actor will be there. And that should work. He should stop roaming now, at least he's not. Maybe it's not triggering, and I guess I know why. If we go into the master AI, Aggro Spear, did I set this up? I set this up to block. Okay. Let's print a string. Player overlap. Let's just see if it triggers, which I guess it's not doing. It's not overlapping now. So that's the issue. Did I set this to aggro? Block. I feel like it should. Let's increase the radius. It is not. I am missing something super simple here. That should be fine. Generate overlap events. Query custom. Let's go into. Maybe that's gonna work. That shouldn't make any difference, but master player character on Aggro Sphere. Let me pause and figure this out. Okay, whenever I pause, I always figure it out in the first try, so it's actually working. I get confused by this sometimes, and don't ask me why it's working like this or not. So overlap seems to work with query and physics enabled. So on both, set it to overlap and not block, and then query and physics. And what happens now is when we enter, he starts chasing us. So we need to repeat this though, because he stops once he reaches us. So in the master AI, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do another custom event. That is event chase player. We're gonna move this here. And whenever we are on success, we're gonna event chase player. So he is chasing us. When he reaches us, no, okay, yeah. So whenever we reset the overlap, delay, because yeah, exactly, because we need to loop this. Without the delay, it just resets and then it stops, I guess. So he reached us. If I back away now, why doesn't he keep going? 26 minutes. Let's start to close down this video, but I'm just gonna, so he is chasing, he stops, but he didn't reach us. Unsuccess. Get actor location. On success. I feel like we should be successing this. That should be a success, no? It's not. Is it a fail? Or I mean, why doesn't it return success? Is it fail? It's not fail. We don't need this. That's weird. It's not a fail and it's not a success. That's weird. It's neither. I mean, okay, I see. Sorry. That's me, that is stupid. So event chase player. Event chase player. We never triggered the event. That makes sense. So we just moved. We kept the old move too. So on success, we wait for 1 second, then we chase the player. This should work. There we go. And if I just move away now, you can see that he keeps following me. Okay, sorry about that. That's just me being stupid. Yeah, maybe I should, it's Christmas, so maybe I should jump on the beer instead of the coffee. This is actually 4:30, so it's time for beer. Anyway, this is gonna be it for now. See you in the next one. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and please like and subscribe if you are new to the channel as always. See you in the next one. Bye.